Welcome to the online sessions on DCCN. In the last session, we have completed the flow control method, and we discussed in that two methods of flow control called as sliding window method and stop and wait kind of method. So these two are the methods using which we normally going to control the flow of data between the source and destination computers. Now, next control is going to be the error control method. This error control method is normally used to control the error which is normally going to happen in the data transmitted bits. So after we normally discuss about error control method, we have to go with the protocols normally used to normally used in the data link layer. So the HDLC, known as high level data link control protocol, is normally a protocol used in the DLL layer. So data link layer is normally going to have a HDLC protocol. Now I want to discuss this HDLC protocol because this question has been asked many times in the end examinations. So very important concept here known as HDLC protocol. So this is one of the most important protocols. HDLC is one of the most important protocols that operates in the data link layer. Is nothing but HDLC protocol. So it is nothing but HDLC is one of the most important protocols that operates in the data link layer. That means data link layer is normally going to provide functionalities. These functions such as line display, flow control, error control functions are implemented in a protocol, and that protocol is known as HDLC protocol. So therefore HDLC is a data link protocol which provides the functionalities of the data link layer. So these functions are normally provided in the HDLC protocol. This HDLC protocol is known as a bit oriented kind of a protocol. So why we normally use this HDLC protocol? So it helps in, that means the HDLC protocol is normally helps in providing the functions of the data link layer. So three functions we have just now discussed in the previous session. So control, what is that, error control protocol, error control function we are yet to discuss because it is a very larger unit under consideration. So it requires error detection and correction methods, so that we discuss after this session, that is after our break time in the sessions, that is from probably from 16th or 17th, we start discussing about the, which is going to be the last topic in unit number 2, going to be the error control methods, error detection and control methods, known as error control methods. So but prior to that, I just wanted to discuss about the protocol known as DLL protocol, which is going to be HDLC protocol, and it's basically a bit oriented protocol. So this protocol is normally going to provide the functionalities of the data link layer called DLL. So this DLL has, we just now we discussed, DLL is providing three functions going to be called as line, that is going to be called as line discipline, flow control and error control methods. So these three has to be provided by the basic protocol known as HDLC protocol, which has been implemented in the data link layer. So data link layer is something like a representation. This data link layer is implemented using a protocol known as HDLC protocol. Right. So what is a protocol? Protocol is known as set of rules that governs the communication in the data communication system. Now, this particular HDLC protocol helps in activating the link. That is, it is going to provide the functionalities of the line discipline, exchanging data. That means it has to exchange data and deactivating the link between the successive nodes. Exchanging data means what? Exchanging comprises of two important operations. One is going to be flow control. Another one is definitely going to be error control methods and deactivating the link. Now, in the case of the, what is this HDLC protocol, this protocol is normally going to identify the source and destination computers with different names. So every protocol is normally going to designate the computers with its own names in general. That means by seeing the name given to the protocol, we understand that in which protocol this particular name that you are normally talking to. That means which protocol you are talking to. That is understood by the name given to the computer or a source or a destination devices in the data communication networks. It all depends on the data. That means we already discovered that based on the name given to the data coming out of layers, we decide about from which data that particular data has come. Say for example, if data is coming from the data link layer, we call that data as a frame. That means the data represented by data link layer is called as frame. Similar data represented by network layer is called as a packet. Data represented by transport layer is called as a, so data represented by the transport layer is normally called as a segments. So therefore the transport layer is normally going to give the data in terms of segments. Network layer gives the data in terms of packets, and data link layer is going to give the data in terms of the frames. So therefore these three are the names given to the data coming out of each and every layer. That means by seeing the name, we should think that where from this data is coming actually. If you speak in terms of packets, data is coming from network layer. If you speak in terms of frames, data is coming from the data link layer. If they speak in terms of the segments, we say the data is coming from the transport layer. Now, similar to that, we normally give the names to the stations in the protocols. So in SDLC protocol, there are different types of stations, three names given to the computers or devices which are there in the network, called as primary station, secondary station, and combined station. So we have to spell with respect to the names given to the devices connected in the data communication network, if at all you are writing regarding the protocol of the data link layer. So you should speak in terms of stations, because it says that you are talking by staying in the data link layer, and you are speaking regarding the HDLC protocol of the data link layer. This is what the meaning that you will be giving it to the examiner by spelling, by giving a specific names to the devices connected in the system. So that means the end-to-end systems are going to give some names such as primary station, secondary station, and the combined station, which is very, very important for us. So what is primary station? It is known as master in general. Master computer is known as primary station. So the primary station is responsible for controlling the operations of the link. So what is the master? What master will do? It controls the operations of the link. So frames issued by the primary stations are called commands. See the name, what we are using, we are calling it by name called frames. Frames means what? It is the data represented by the network, sorry, data represented by the data link layer. Frames is nothing but data representation in the data link layer. So frames issued by primary station are called commands. The next secondary stations operates under the control of the primary station. That means they will be called as slaves in general. Frames issued by secondary stations are called responses. So there is a name given to the frames given by the this one is going to be called as the issued by secondary station are called responses. So primary station maintains a separate logical link with each secondary station on the line. So in doing this process, every primary station is going to give a every primary station maintains a separate logical link with each secondary station on the link. The next station is going to be combined station, which combines the features of primary and secondary stations. The combined station may issue both the command and the responses. That means when a particular station is going to act like both, when a particular station both sends a command as well as receive responses, that station is simply called as a combined station for us. So these are all the various types of stations we normally going to have. Two types of links are normally going to get supported here. They are known as unbalanced configuration Another one is going to be the balanced configuration. And types of data transfer mode is normally support is going to be something like normal response mode, and usually asynchronous balanced mode we normally going to have. So this we discuss in detail by using some more details in a PPT. So we'll try to discuss about the HDLC protocol. So HDLC is a protocol using which we implement the functions of the data link layer. So protocol is nothing but set of rules which governs the communication between two devices or two computers. That is what called basically a protocol means. So HDLC is a protocol which is used in the data link layer to provide the end-to-end communication or better communication. So that is what we have. So HDLC is nothing but a high level data link control protocol, is a group of communication protocols of data link layer for transmitting data between the network points or nodes. Since it is a data link protocol, data is organized into frames. This is what I am talking to you. So since this HDLC is a data link protocol, data is organized into frames. Data is organized into frames. So since we are talking regarding the protocol, which is nothing but data link protocol, we usually going to have the data in terms of frames. This is what we are really indicating. So therefore, since it is a data link protocol, data is organized always into frames. This is an important point I was talking to you since from so long. So a frame is transmitted, you should use the word frame. If you don't use the word frame, if you just use the word called data or something else, it is not going to be appropriate when you speak data in the when you speak data using the HDLC protocol. This is what important. So a frame is transmitted via the network to the destination that verifies its successful arrival. So this means every station should compulsorily transmit via the data network link. Okay, when where this data has to be verified, whether this data has been transmitted or not has to be verified, of course, by the protocol. So it is basically a bit-oriented protocol that is applicable for both point-to-point and multi-point communications. So it supports two line communications. One is going to be called as point to point and multi point, as we discussed. And there are modes which are importantly normal response mode, normal mode, asynchronous, balanced mode, which are more popular in the case of an asynchronous. Balanced mode, normal mode are the two popular modes which are very important for the data communication between two devices in the two devices using the HDLC protocol. Let us try to understand this communication now. So already we discussed about various things like we discussed about the line control method, the line control or line discipline function, flow control function, error control function has to be implemented in this particular protocol, because protocol is normally going to implement the functionalities provided by the DLL. Very, very important. So therefore, let us look into the various transfer modes. The HDLC supports two types of transfer modes, normal mode and asynchronous balanced mode. These two are the more popular modes. So here these two, we speak computers connected, end-to-end computers connected in the network are going to be called as stations. So we have the names called primary station, secondary station, and a combined station. So primary station we call whenever a system is only send commands. Secondary station, whenever we see that a station is going to give responses to the commands, is called secondary station. When a system is going to combine these two, called as a combined station. So this is what we discussed. Now in the normal response mode, NRM mode, here two types of stations will be there called as primary and secondary. Whereas primary is going to send commands and secondary station that can only respond to the received commands. So primary is going to send command to the secondary asking for information from the secondary station. And secondary station is going to give response to the command provided by the primary station. So for example, say primary station is going to ask for the contents of the accumulator in a secondary station, it is going to send contents of the accumulator. If the primary station is going to ask for the speed of the secondary system, it is going to send the speed of the secondary system to the primary system. So like that, based on the command, it is going to based on the command given by the primary station, secondary station is going to give the appropriate response to the primary station. So it is used for both point to point and obviously multi-point kind of a communication. So as we discussed earlier, this can be done by using a line control method. Acknowledge, remember we discussed about acknowledge, inquire and acknowledge method, using which we normally going to send the commands to the secondary station. Then we have expecting responses from secondary to the primary by using pole select signals. So using pole select signals, we are simply getting the responses. First of all, the primary station is going to select the secondary station in the case of multi-point communication. Then it is going to poll the secondary for giving the responses if the secondary is ready. So this is what we discussed in the pole select region. So these two are going to comprising of the line configuration functions or line discipline functions that can be easily incorporated here. Then next we have discussed about the flow control method. In that we discussed about stop and wait method or wait and stop method, and next sliding window method. Using these two methods, we have transmitted signal at a particular speed used in the data communication network. So this protocol, we understand that now it is simply implementing all the functions provided by the data link layer. So in the normal response mode, it's simply two computers are going to either work like a primary and a secondary in the normal mode. And next one is asynchronous balanced mode. In the balanced mode, that means both the systems connected, both the end-to-end systems connected in the network are going to give equal priority. Means what? Both the stations can transmit, can transmit as well as receive. That means both the stations can send command and send responses. Either way, both the people are going to do the both the tasks. That is sending commands as well as sending the responses. Both can do simultaneously. So that is what called asynchronous balanced mode of communication. Here the configuration is balanced. That is, each station can both send commands and respond to the commands. It is used only for point to point kind of the communication. So that is what called asynchronous mode. It is normally going to supported by only point to point line communication method. So it is not going to support multi-point communication method because it is going to be a conversation between the two systems or two devices in the network. Then next going to be the HDLC frame, because the data coming out of the data link layer is going to come out like a frame. That means if the DLL layer is implementing HDLC protocol to implement the functions of DLL, the DLL is normally going to give the output data in terms of a frame called as a HDLC frame. So now what this HDLC frame is going to comprising of, it is basically going to comprising of 6 fields. One is going to be called as flag, address, control, payload, FCS and flag. So what is the meaning of all these things is an important thing. That means totally there are 6 fields. So using these 6 fields, the data will be simply transmitted from data link layer to the physical layer by the HDLC protocol, right? Now here in the exam you have to write, you have to compulsorily indicate all these various fields of the HDLC frame, right? So that means this payload, where from this payload is coming? This payload is coming from its top layer known as the network layer. So you should know, you should really remember the sequence of layers compulsorily in the data communication field. So what is the sequence of layers? You should remember compulsorily, that is application layer, presentation layer, session layer, then transport layer. Below transport layer, you're going to have network layer. Below network layer, you're going to have the data link layer. That means the data coming from network layer is nothing but payload to the data link layer. The data coming from the network layer, the data coming from network layer is called as a packet. So that packet is nothing but payload to the data link layer. That means that is the data the data link layer need to transmit to its subsequent layer following to it. That is what called payload, or the data to the data link layer. That means the meaning of data frame to every layer is going to be different based on its basic functionalities and utilizations. Okay, or utility functions provided by the various layers. The data is normally going to be represented by different means. So here we call data as a payload. Usually the common name given to the data in each and every layer is going to be called as a payload. So this payload is nothing but a packet, because it is coming now as far as data link layer is concerned. This payload can be called as a packet. Why packet? Because it is coming from the data link layer. If this is coming from okay, data link layer, sorry, network layer, since the data is coming from network layer to the data link layer, we can call this payload as a packet. That is an important point that we should have. The next one is going to be the flag register. What is the meaning of this flag register? It is a sequence of 8-bit register. Now, as I spoke to you, it is going to be a bit oriented protocol. We can access bit by bit in this protocol. So it is a bit oriented protocol. Therefore, bits you should represent in terms of bits to identify about its various functionalities. So it is flag register is normally used to mark the beginning and end of the frame. That means the frame is going to begin with 0 bit and frame is going to end with the 0 bit. So this is what it speaks about the beginning and end of the frame. That means if the receiving computer is going to is going to read this entire data, it sees that beginning is 0, ending is 0. That means it understands that it is nothing but beginning, the whatever is coming is going to be for this particular data frame. Beginning and ending of the frame is identified by the, that means it says that okay, frame is coming, it reads beginning as 0. The receiving computer understands that a frame is coming. When the receiving computer reads 0, means what? It understands that frame got ended. That is the meaning here. So the bit pattern can be written as equal to 0 first, then 0. In between, you're going to have all the combinations of the bits. That is what the flag register representation. Then next, you're going to have the address field. What this address field is going to contain? So there are two operations we are performing. Primary station is sending the commands. Receiving station, known as secondary station, is sending the responses. If the frame is sent by the primary station, then that frame normally contains the address of the secondary station or addresses of the secondary station. If the frame is sent by the secondary station as a response, then it contains address of the primary station, because it should be destined to the primary in case of response. Address field may be from 1 byte to several bytes based on the type of the network under consideration. See here, internet is going to be called as network of networks. Therefore, it is based on the type of the network, the data is normally going to get transferred. Accordingly, the size of the address is going to vary from 1 byte to several bytes of memory. So therefore, it is going to be an adjustable field. The next is going to be a control field. It is also going to come in 1 or 2 bytes containing the flow and error control information. Yes, this is what I was talking to you. This is normally going to contain the flow and error control information. Then payload is that carries data from the network layer, right? So payload is nothing but data coming from the network layer into the data link layer. Therefore, we call this payload as the data that the payload carries the data from the network layer. Its length may vary from one network to another network. Now this length is once again based on the type of network. The size of the packet is normally going to change. The next field is going to be the FCS, frame check sequence, known as checksum. So this can be called as checksum in popular data communication networks. So it is a 2-byte or 4-byte frame check sequence for error detection. So it is normally used for frame check sequence. That means before particular data or a frame transmitted via the network, the source computer is going to perform some activity on the payload, and it calculates some frame check sequence called as checksum. So along with payload, the the transmitter computer or a sender computer is going to send a checksum bits. After computing based on some methodology, it computes checksum, and this checksum is transmitted along with the payload. That is known as frame check sequence, called as checksum bits. So the standard code used is going to be cyclic redundancy code, very popular code, CRC code or checksum, or the popular codes which we normally going to use. And it is going to come as 2-byte or 4-byte data, followed by the flag register. So flag register is normally going to speak about the type of the data which is really being transmitted on the network. So these are all the various fields that we normally going to have in this particular HDLC framework, in this HDLC framework. Okay. So these are all the protocol structure of the HDLC protocol. Then next, the last topic which we can figure out is going to be the types of SDLC frames. That means what type of data we can really transmit through this using this protocol over the network link. Now, whenever a network link is there, definitely we are going to have three types of data. One is going to be called as supervisory data. The network engineers are normally going to check the condition of the network by using the supervisory frames. Supervisory frames means what? They are known as the control signals sent by the master computer, are known as primary station, asking for data from the secondary stations. They are known as commands in general. So supervisory frames are known as commands sent by the primary station to the secondary station, known as supervisory frames. So commands can be called as a supervisory frame. So we can transmit commands or supervisory frames called as S frames. Is going to be one type of SDLC data. Another SDLC data can be called as going to be iframe, known as information frame. Our information is known as user data from the network layer. That means payload. I want to transmit a payload. Just now we discussed. Now what type of SDLC frame it is? It is, this frame is known as a iframe. So I can call this frame as iframe. Why? How can I call this frame as iframe? Because I have a payload. Instead of a payload, if you have a command, then it is known as S-frame. So these two are the primary differences between the various types of frames that we normally going to transmit through this particular network. Right. So iframe is nothing but our information frames carry user data from the coming from the network layer. They also include flow and error control information that is piggybacked on the user data. The first bit of the frame is identified with 0. If it is identified with 0, is called a iframe. So we identify the starting bit is going to be with 1. Iframe is identified starting with the number 1. S frame is going to be 1 0, and U frame is going to be 1 1. So these are all the modes which we normally going to have. S frame is normally FCS we transmit, that is control signals. U frame is going to be other management activities. So I frame is going to be used for the transmitting user data. So this is what the protocol called as SDLC, using which we implement the functions of the data link layer. So thank you very much for today's session.